to watch the planes fly. I work in Troutville on gas Road, and I can watch the planes fly, and I can tell you where the contrails start, almost dead on every time a plane goes by. Sometimes there's 50, 60 planes a day, just there for 8 hours I work. And they'll start probably over Corning and end up close to Mount Shasta, I would say, as far as I can see in the sky.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the distance, but
On the days that
this
you-
contrails, it's amazing that I really.
I can tell you this, I mean, you can find it on the net. There's a U.S. patent, powder contrail generator. The purpose is to create artificial cloud cover. I mean, all I'm telling you, again, I'm not trying to tell you that I know this is going on and that, you know, that this is absolute fact. I'm simply saying that all these dots certainly would seem to point this direction. One thing that's not speculation is that this metal is there. In the last 4 years, it's shown up like too many credible people have tested it. It's all in the state lab, and it's not just here. All the NATO countries, there's people reporting the same thing in all the NATO countries. So, I'm sorry. There's a
I'm
couple
not sure about now, but about 6 years ago, I looked at the ingredients on certs, and certs is made up completely just about aluminum, and I quit taking it at that time.
Antacids, there's a lot of things that, you know, have that in it. In fact, that's a good example. If people know what Tums, you know, they just decrease acidity, you know, that's what aluminum does, aluminum oxide does. The sulfate will increase that acidity, oxide decreases, and, you know, yeah, we all know to avoid aluminum, and we've all been told that over and over. But again, I mean, I was in the room with the international geoengineers. It's on the record. You can watch it on the net as they cavalierly talk about 20 million tons of ultrafine aluminum in the atmosphere, and stated on camera that no study has been done to determine any human health effect. I mean, I'm telling you exactly what was said. I was there, and you can watch it yourself on the net.
Hi there. You've identified the problem. Take us to the solution.
Thank you. Thank you. The only solution I know, because we have tried, so many people have tried in agencies that I told you, you know, completely worthless politicians like in Boxer's office, completely dead ends, okay? The only thing that will force this to issue is people investigating it, getting up to speed at it, on this issue, and screaming to their air quality officials to take tests and to publicize those results. And if that happens, and I've spoken to a reporter from the New York Times that they know about this issue, but they're waiting for any municipality, it doesn't matter from how small a city, that somehow this issue by a municipality or an agency is brought to light or battled by the citizens to have that happen. And then it could hit the radar. And again, you find articles on this from South America to Germany. The German meteorologists are suing their government about this issue right now. Belgium, they're suing the International Court in Hague. I mean, this issue is not local, and it is extremely well publicized, but like so many things, like Agent Orange, how long was that lie propagated? Well, you know, until the effects couldn't be hidden anymore, and the Gulf War syndrome, and the 9/11 first responders that were told it was safe to go back into that site. That's what they were told. And now there's 20,000. Many people don't know this. There's 20,000 of our best 9/11 first responders that are sick and dying from cancer because they were blatantly lied to about going back into that site. And that's well documented. So I'm saying it takes a lot of people becoming aware. You tell someone, and they tell someone else, and pretty soon everybody knows. You know, if you take a penny at the beginning of the month and you double it every day for 30 days, it's 5.5 million. People think that my math must be off. It's not. I mean, when you create a viral spread of information on an issue so paramountly important, again, whatever battle we're fighting, if we can't walk out the door and breathe without sucking up heavy metals, it's a very long-term, insidious decimation to the human organism. Barium is a known immune suppressant. I mean, and again, respiratory issues. I spoke to one of Reading's best ear and stroke people today. He said they're double booked, people with things they can't get rid of, coughs, and various issues, and you can't prove it. You can't prove this came from that, but you can certainly say that we can prove the metals are there, and we can prove it's documented those metals caused this. And again, how do we get this out in the open, do something about it, learn about it, tell others about it, and spread the word until everyone knows about this issue. That's my goal.
first concern when I hear all of this is I start believing you immediately. I think you're very believable. I think your facts and figures sound very believable. And then I think about a meeting I was in right here in the Tea Party, a little side meeting we had about 6 weeks ago, where we were discussing local issues and international issues. And one man brought up his concern about the trails in the air, the jet trails. And I think I was not the only one in the room that kind of poo-pooed him. I'm like, yeah, well, we've got more important things to think about, but I'm sure that's really important. And it's just, it was put to the back of the burner, if not beyond that. So I'm sitting here listening to what you're saying, going, this is obviously, the man knew what he was talking about. This is a serious problem. Yeah, and I can hear myself going to where I work, and I'm in the medical field, and I can hear myself saying, have you guys seen the jet trails? And people leaving the room going, shit, you know, what has he been smoking? It's going to be hard to get that message out. With all that's going wrong in the world, with all the financial chaos, with the administration worldwide, with the euro and everything else, this is going to be put beyond the back burner, as important as you and I now know it is.
You can't imagine the degree to which I understand your statement. I mean, I think I'm the first one in this area to really investigated this enough to start to comprehend the gravity of it and start testing. And I believe me, in the last 6 years, you can't imagine how many of the rolling eyes that I've had. And I do prioritize, and I do fully agree with the amount of problems in the world today, which are so incredibly dire and so incredibly numerous. But I believe that, and of all the people I've seen politically, no one seems more capable and effective at working together than the Tea Party. I mean, I certainly, that seems abundantly clear. I mean, it's inspiring to see how you work together as a group. If your head's on fire, you quit worrying about your stub toe and your skin knee. Again, if you can't walk out the door and breathe without sucking up heavy metals, you have a problem that's immediate and insidious. And again, these metals are there. And the skepticism you had, I shared. When I was told about this issue, I didn't give it another thought for a year until I began to lose 40, 50, sometimes 60% of my solar uptake, and that's my background, from strictly what was coming out of those aircraft. And I couldn't imagine how that could be. And I began to study this issue called, if you look at the term, it's called SRM. That's the acronym they've given it in Congress. There's hearings in Congress about this already going on. It's called solar radiation management. They're going to manage our sun, okay? And so, again, these terms are there. And anybody who rolls their eyes and walks away, if they do any legitimate investigation on geoengineering, and I stress that term, if you give someone the term chemtrails, they're going to go to the net, punch up conspiracy theories to this, conspiracy theory that. But if they punch in the term geoengineering, you'll find a mountain of science and a mountain of data. And that is what's really important, to remember the term geoengineering. And there's a website called geoengineeringwatch.org. .org or .com. If you remember the word geoengineeringwatch.org or .com, it'll get there. There is nothing but science on that site. That site was done by a lot of people in the North State. It doesn't diverge off onto aliens and UFOs and conspiracies of all sorts. It is nothing but science, nothing but geoengineering, and you can confidently refer people to that site. And if they are still skeptical after seeing articles from MIT and Scientific American and publications from around the globe, then they don't want to know at that point. But I believe me, I relate to what you're saying. But if you have a site like that to refer them to, the skeptics, I think even they will be taken back.
We're going to so that the groups can get going. Last week I didn't manage our time very well, and so we didn't get to our groups until like 7:30 or 7:45, which is just takes a lot of people's hard work.
I'd be happy to answer any more questions over there.
Absolutely.
So, from the heart, I don't take such an invite to come here for granted. I'm very grateful. I know everybody in this room cares about the bigger picture, or you wouldn't be here. I'm proud to be your company. Thank you.